Welcome. I am Brother Max, and welcome down here to the Dragon Soup. This is Suck at Steven Seagal month. I bought these four random Steven Seagal movies, and I just couldn't help myself. And I know we're not in the middle of June, but I had to start doing this because I haven't done anything like this in quite some time. And with titles like these, like Driven to Kill, which is today's movie, Kill Switch, Mercenary for Justice, and Today You Die, couldn't pass it up for a couple bucks. But before I really get started, I need you to do a few things by clicking subscribe, hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, and share. And if those who are from TikTok, let me know. I would like to know if you seen my video on there of this. I just kind of did a quick initial reaction over there because I can't do a full review like I'm doing right here. But let me read the synopsis for this movie real quick. We got Ruslan, which is Steven Seagal's character, a former Russian mobster, also turned author of detective stories or snuff books. You got must return to his dark past when his daughter is brutally attacked and his ex-wife is killed, I must add, hours before marrying the son of a very powerful rival. With rage only a father's love can match, Ruslan must stop at nothing to bring justice. Now, that actually sounds pretty decent. Sounds very John Wickish, to be honest with you. And there's some moments where it kind of feels like they were kind of stealing some stuff from John Wick. I'm not quite sure what the time frame of it all, and it's a very generic kind of thing. But this movie is bad. Okay, it's laughably bad. The movie actually looks decent. It's shot decent, but it's the people who are involved that makes it bad. Even everybody else is actually pretty decent in this movie, but Seagal makes it a Seagal movie, okay? Because he can't talk or deliver dialogue to save his life, okay? I had to eliminate all sound from down here in the basement. I had to turn off the AC, my fan, I had to stop laundry, every bit of sound so I could understand him. And I almost turned on subtitles just so I could listen to what he's saying. But I'm like, you know what? I don't want to know. I just want to watch this movie. And he mumbles his words, and he's supposed to have an accent which comes and goes, and he mumbles his action sequences as well because he clearly has a stunt double for clearly walking down the steps, because you don't see the head of Steven Seagal, you just see the body down below. And when he's going through doors and stuff like that and walking, is like you can clearly tell that's not the same body build as Steven Seagal, which is hilarious. And in and of its own, like, that should be a drinking game, to be honest with you, with these four movies. Like, can you spot his stunt double for easy things? And the gunfire in the movie, it's okay. I've seen worse, and I've definitely seen better. And it's kind of just in between, to be honest with you, with the gunfire scene, the gunplay scenes. But the karate and the martial arts stuff, it's like he's just constantly doing this, and it's really close up stuff. And then when he finally does break a bone, it sounds like someone breaking celery as the sound effect, and it's kind of takes you out of the moment. It's like, is someone cooking off screen, And then this movie just has a lot of great moments, okay? My favorite moment of the whole movie is so he basically gets the son-in-law to tag along with him by kind of harassing him into thinking that he's not a man for going after the killer, or after the person who attacked his soon-to-be wife. And when he wants nothing to do with his life, he's like, well, you're not a man if you don't do what this. You got to go do this, to go take revenge. And he's like, okay, I'll go along with you. And I'm like, okay, you can clearly tell he's not a good guy regardless. Or if he valued his daughters, whatever, he wouldn't have done that, okay? And so that's one small instance. So he gets him alone in the strip club, and they're having this sequence where Stefan, which is the fiance, kills somebody. And there's just this naked lady in the middle of the room just doing her like her dance, and they're just kind of looking at each other and talking, and just the vibe of the room, as you can clearly tell, like the actor who's playing Stefan is like uncomfortable. Like, I don't know if he's just like, this is a one take kind of thing. He just doesn't feel like he should be like, he's trying to avoid eye contact with the lady. And then you got Seagal on this end, just like, just enjoying it, just kind of like, yeah, okay. And just and like, yep, there's a naked lady in front of me. I'm paying this person to do this, and I'm getting paid for this. While the other one's like, this doesn't feel right. At least that's the vibe I got. And my favorite running joke through the movie is they get this henchman. He is constantly getting outsmarted, beat up, and eventually he's getting killed in an actually pretty brutal way. But he's just constantly getting like tricked into like running away, or he's getting hit on the back of the head and getting knocked out. He gets his ear blown off. He's just constantly getting beat up through the movie, and he thinks he's a big baddie and everything. It's hilarious. But this movie has one of the most long, drawn out knife battles or knife sequences I've ever seen in a movie, and it's so ridiculous because, like, you got this one guy who has a knife and Seagal has a knife, and they're like kind of like going at each other and Seagal is doing his defensive moves, and every time he stabs him, it looks like a fountain of blood is just pouring out of him. I mean, it's just like Kill Bill style, or one of those old Japanese movies where you cut off a limb and it's just spraying everywhere. Okay, and that's exactly what happens. He just stabs him like once or twice, and you just see some like blood spurting out, and it cuts back to him like a decent wide shot, and he's like nothing happened to him, and finally, and you can hear like the sound effects like of the knife kind of like slicing him, and he should have been dead. Dead. Okay, but he's still going at it like if you like nothing's going on, and then he finally ends up getting killed, like the bad guy. But it's just like, he should have been the big baddie of the movie, because the way how many knife cuts he's, and how bad he was stabbing, and like the scenes where he's getting stabbed and the blood's pouring out of him, it happens like 3 or 4 times. Like, you got him on the shoulder, the arm. I think he broke his arm at one point, and like, or broken some celery and stuff like that. It's just like, this movie is ridiculous. Okay, and but there's one scene in this movie that's totally shows you like his true character of the movie, other than like tricking his future son-in-law, to go along with this vengeance tour here. It's like, he has his wedding ring, okay, that he gifted to his daughter, and it got taken in the initial attack to kind of make it look like a robbery and whatnot. So he's tracking it down to this pawn shop, and the pawn shop dude, he's not on the up and up, okay, but he doesn't deserve what Seagal did to him. He's like, I need to know who about the dude with the tattoo on his neck. Come on, tell me. And he's like, the pawn shop dude's like, no, like, I can't give out that information, and plus I just wouldn't give it to you anyways. And Seagal proceeds to like beat him and breaks his nose, shoves his head through the glass counter, and then you can clearly tell the dude's like, what did I do to deserve this? And he's just like bleeding profusely through his nose and face and everything, and then she goes like, steal the security tape, and it's like, and he just walks away. I'm like, this is hilarious. Like, this is so bad. Like, I'm not doing justice explaining this movie at all. And like, the ending sequence with the true villain of the movie is actually pretty decent. The killer, like the way he gets dispatched, he basically gets a gun shoved into his eye, the trigger pulled, and his head just explodes. And it's like, okay, like on the back of his head, and it's actually pretty decent. Like, I actually was pretty impressed with that. It's like, okay, for the type of villain, he actually deserves a pretty decent death, and that was actually pretty decent. Now, the movie ends, oh, you get happy ending and everything. So, I saved this to the end because the opening shot of the movie is in his apartment. It kind of pans from the ocean window view to some books and alcohol and just a very, very nice looking house. And like I mentioned, some of the most fakest typing I've ever seen in my entire world is he's just like, and it just sound effects just added in post, and then it kind of pans around, and whatever he's typing is not what's matching on screen. Okay, someone just like pre-recorded some typing and played it at what he just like typing away on the keyboard. Now at the end of the movie they do the exact same shot, but it's like do like a reverse shot, and you can clearly tell there's some people out on some balconies and stuff, and you can clearly tell that they are walking backwards and whatnot. So they just did a reverse tracking shot, and it was like, it's so noticeable, it's not even funny. And then that's how the movie ends. So, and they definitely added some scenes for padding, because there's a scene in the movie where he's just kind of walking down the street and they just do these cross dissolves of like time lapse, and it's like, we don't need this at all. This could have it cut like that could have cut like 3 minutes of the movie out right then and there. But I had fun watching Driven to Kill. It's definitely, I don't have a rating scale yet for this. I should have done it, but I'll have one for the next movie for next week. But we're going to have some fun with it. The next movie is called Kill Switch. So, but as always, I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and all I can say is suck it, Seagal, and I'm going to go geek out, and thank you.